why is eschatology so powerful? Why does it compel us to do things that are, from an outsider's perspective, irrational or extreme or fanatical, like start wars in the Middle East? And the argument I want to make to you is that the reason why is that eschatology that we have today in the Middle East, it is fundamentally sexual in nature. Sexual in nature. All right? So remember this. At the eschatology, it's not just an idea. It's sexual. It's something that you want to move towards. You're driven by this sexual urge in order to fulfill the eschatology, okay? All right. So let me explain how this works. All right. So we first start off with the occult, right? And I'm going to show you how it leads to eschatology. Okay. So the most dominant understanding of the occult is something called Hermeticism. Hermetic philosophy. It comes to us from Egypt. Okay? And there are 7 basic principles of Hermetic philosophy. Okay. The first is that everything is mind. Everything is energy. Everything is vibration. So you start off with a source. We'll call it the monad or the source. And what the source does is it breathes, it emanates, it thinks, it meditates. And so it vibrates, okay? Om, okay? And it's infinite, okay? So it has infinite vibrations, okay? And the higher the vibration is, the faster it is, okay? The lower it is, the slower it is. And so this gives rise to the material world. So yes, so even though the dimensions are infinite, we can roughly classify them in different categories, okay? At the very bottom is the material world, which is our world. Then you might have the emotional. Then you might have the spiritual. Then you might have the divine, okay? All right? Now, according to Hermetic philosophy, there are certain characteristics about this universe. Okay? The first is that there is rhythm to it. Okay? Meaning there's a pattern to its vibrations. It's not just random chaos. There's a pattern to it. And this pattern will become the basis for astrology, right? That's what astrology is. Astrology is trying to figure out the pattern of the stars. Okay, which determines the movement of the universe. Second thing is the idea of correspondence. All right? What correspondence means is that divine, spiritual, emotional, material, they all line up. Okay, they all correspond to each other. They're not different realms. They're all realms that can influence each other. This then leads to the idea of cause and effect, which is that the entire universe is combined together. So that what happens in the material world can impact the divine. What happens in the divine can impact the material. Okay? And what this means, and this is really interesting, is that you can have impact on others as well. So this gives rise to the idea of telepathy. Okay? And there's a belief that if you meditate long enough, okay, if you will it long enough, you can make something happen. There's something called the idea of manifestation. Okay, so there are many secrets to this. Okay? This gives rise to the idea of as below, so above. And this has to do with the idea of the interconnectedness of this universe. And what this means basically is that the universe are just fractals of each other. Okay? Fractals of each other. So you, in your mind, you are just a fractal of the entire universe. And the entire universe is a reflection of you yourself. Okay? Does that make sense? As above, so below, as below, so above. The interconnectedness of everything. Okay? Then this gives rise to the idea of polarity. Polarity just means opposites. So if there's a black, there must be a white. If there's a female, there must be a male. Okay? So the universe is divided into extremes, into opposites. Then this gives rise to the idea of generation, the generative principle. Okay? So you have generation and production. So production is the female, generation is the male. Okay? And this is a fundamental movement of the universe, where new things are created when the male and the female come together, when the yin and the yang come together. All right? So think of thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And this is what allows for the universe to constantly create new things. Okay? So these are the 7 fundamental principles of the universe. First, everything is energy, everything is mind, everything is vibration. That's number 1. Number 2 is there's a pattern to all this. Number 3 is the different dimensions correspond with each other. They're all connected somehow. Number 4 is cause and effect, where if you make one movement in the material world, you can also influence the divine, okay? You can also influence others as well. As above, so below, so that we're all reflections of God itself, the universe itself. Polarity, there are opposites, and these opposites work together to create the life force, okay? That allows for creativity. Okay, so these are 7 basic principles of the universe, okay? And this has been known for a long time, ever since the Egyptians, then it went over to India,